of that have to do with what I just told you? And then he comes back and is like, whoa, 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 whoa. Why are you cursing and raising your voice at me? You see how you disrespect me in my own household? Do you see why? And then the conversation becomes... Okay, I want to get a quick disclaimer out of the way for the entirety of the 5 people that maybe watch my channel reoccurringly. This is not a anime video. I'm going to try my best not to mention anime anywhere in this video. I realized with my last video, I said this in my last video, I don't really watch a lot of anime. I love talking about anime, but that's just because I like the anime that I watch, and I love talking. So, today, I'm just gonna talk about manipulative people, which really is just as interesting as any anime, if you think about it. So yeah, I want to start making videos where I just start talking about the random stuff on my mind, because I go on schizo rants, and I want to put them on the internet so people can think I'm weird. And the first thing I want to go on a schizo rant about is manipulative people. Now, I just hedged a lot about how this isn't an anime video. Now I'm going to hedge a lot about how I am only... I forgot my age for a second. I'm only 21 years old. 21 years. That's not a lot. My brain isn't even fully developed. Everything I say is taken with a grain of salt. There's not a word out of my mouth that you should take as absolute. This is like the holy scripture. This is how I'm gonna fix my life. Don't do that. Listen, I'm in college. I'm 21. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. All right. Don't listen to me. All right. I'm just ranting about something that I think is interesting. Okay. Manipulative people. Now, this entire video is just going to be me hedging things. I don't have manipulative people in my life. And I was like, why make a video about manipulative people if you don't interact with manipulative... Why make a video about manipulative people if you don't interact with manipulative people? Good question. I find them interesting. I would love to talk to a manipulative person. And if I have met manipulative people, they just weren't manipulating me at the time. But what I do have is I've seen people's stories, and I have friends where they very much interact with manipulative people, and I find them fascinating. I would love to sit down and have a conversation with these people. And hopefully, well, no, not hopefully. Again, don't take any of my advice. I'm going to explain how I would navigate a conversation with these people, okay? When somebody goes to manipulate you, people instinctively think, well, they're gonna pull some like Jedi mind trick on me. It's like, actually, you didn't want the last cookie in the cupboard. You're gonna let me have it. And then you're just gonna be like, oh, wow, I guess that's not how it works. These people, manipulative people range from very stupid to very, very smart. The ones that know they're being manipulative, which aren't many, by the way, they're the ones that are really smart. The ones that don't know, they're just really stupid and don't think things through. I'm gonna explain myself throughout the course of the video, but how manipulation usually works is to a normal person that's not thinking this person's manipulating me, it just looks like an obfuscation of responsibility. Obfuscation meaning they're putting aside their responsibility. They're not taking any responsibility. But it's actually much more, what's the word? Evil? Deviant than that? Let's give you an example, all right? Let's say you and a family member, or let's make it a bit easier. Let's say you and a significant other. You go to your significant other and you're like, hey, I feel like you haven't been paying enough attention to me. Or I feel like you're lacking in this and you're very not present in our relationship. I feel like you could be more present. That's a reasonable ask for any partner to have. This is a problem. I'm coming to you with the problem reasonably. I'm not yelling at you. I'm explaining the problem and I'm keeping my emotions in check so you understand what I'm thinking without the big blow up. Now, a normal person, a normal person would go as like, well, I'm sorry that I made you feel that way. Notice, I'm sorry that I made you feel that way. That's how most people probably should react. I'm sorry that I made you feel that way. Let's try to work towards steps together. I didn't know that I was doing that. Could you help me figure out what I'm doing wrong so I can make changes? And maybe there's like this and this that we can work on too, where I feel like you could do this. That's how like normal people, well, reasonable people fix things, right? Now, the fun ones, the manipulators, all right? They're gonna go. So they're not gonna immediately, the good ones at least aren't gonna immediately be like, no, I didn't. I pay attention to you all the time. What are you talking about? A lot of people will say that. But the real manipulators, they're not going to engage with what you brought to them at all. This is how it starts, right? When you bring a problem to them, they never engage with the problem immediately. They can't, because then that validates the problem, right? What they do instead is, hey, same situation. You go up to your significant other. Hey, I feel like you haven't been paying enough attention to me. I really feel left out and lonely in this relationship. I feel like you could put in more effort to spend time with me. They will go, well, how can I ever spend time with you if I'm always doing the dishes because you never do anything around the house, and I'm always taking out the trash, and I'm always doing this? How am I going to spend time with you if you're never doing any of the things that need to be done around the house? So what that does is it invalidates your problem because they turn it into their problem. And now you've been inundated with all of these things that you're doing wrong, that now you feel bad for even bringing up the thing that they're doing wrong. Now, all of this is done to like just take responsibility off from themselves, because if they can point out enough things that you do wrong, then they're not doing anything wrong. Then the conversation doesn't become about whatever you introduced in the first place. It's never about the initial problem. It's always about the next thing and the next thing and the next thing until we forget what we're talking about initially. Now, there is ways to combat this, but I'm not going to lie to you. It's really hard. It takes a very smart person. It takes it does take, you have to understand that it's happening. And you have to keep your emotions in check, which honestly is the most difficult part. The goal for them is to never interact with the initial problem and bring up other problems. And now you're probably saying, Jeremy, okay, what if there is no other problems? What if I do the dishes? What if I do take out the trash? What if there isn't anything for them to complain about? Well, then the goal is to rile you up, right? Because if they rile you up, let's say they hit a sore spot. I'm trying to think of an example without making this too personal to the examples that I know in real life. What's the thing I'm super insecure about? Okay, I thought of one. Let's say I go up to my dad and I'm like, hey dad, I feel like whenever you get even mildly annoyed about anything, you start yelling at the top of your lungs, and it's super unprofessional, and everyone here gets scared, and you're being hyperbolic and making problems worse by yelling all the time. I feel like you should stop yelling when you get annoyed. And then, because I'm a model son and I never do anything wrong, clearly, they don't attack anything else that you did wrong, because maybe you haven't done anything wrong that they can think of. What they do is they try to rile you up with insecurities that they know that you have. For example, it's like, well, yeah, this would be so out of pocket. There's no way anyone would actually say this, but for the sake of argument, let's say, be like, hey, you're yelling too much. I feel like you should stop yelling. It's like, well, why should I watch how I'm yelling if you're not watching your weight? If you're over here like stuffing donuts and everything, you don't care about your waistline. Why should I care about my yelling? The personal attack, right? It has no substance. It has nothing to do with the argument. My weight has nothing to do with the fact that you're yelling. But what it does is it gets me to bite. It's like, wait, hold on. What the fuck? What the fuck does any of that have to do with what I just told you? And then he comes back and is like, whoa. Why are you cursing and raising your voice at me? You see how you disrespect me in my own household? Do you see why? And then the conversation is now not about him yelling. It's not even about your weight anymore, which is what he initially brought up. Now it's about how disrespectful you were during the conversation to make you feel bad, right? That's the entire goal. The goal is always to make it so the other person so the person that was accused comes out looking like the victim. The manipulator wants to be the victim. Now, to combat this, I alluded to this earlier, very hard. you need to recenter the conversation. This takes an extreme amount of patience, an extreme amount of listening ability, because you have to have so much. You have to listen to every single thing they say intently, even if the things they say are very harmful, and you have to have enough patience to analyze all of them and understand what they're doing and not get emotionally involved. Because the second you get emotionally involved, again, you lose, because the conversation now becomes about your emotional involvement and not about the substance of the conversation. So what'll happen is he'll say, well, why should I watch how I'm yelling if you're not watching your waistline? You've been stuffing donuts and you've been getting all fat. And it's like, why should I watch what I'm doing if you're not watching what you're doing? My response shouldn't be to get all mad and be like, wait, hold on. What is it? The response should be, okay, we can talk about that later if you want. Maybe that is a valid concern. I want to talk about your yelling problem. Can we stay on topic? That is the thing I wanted to talk to you about. But the ways is like that's a valid concern. Can we talk about that later? Again, the yelling problem. And then you keep doing that over and over and over and over again. Now, for some people, eventually they're going to want to answer the question. For other people, what'll happen is the ultimate manipulator trump card, all right? And I swear, I'm not sexist, but this does work better with women than with men, but I'm pretty sure men can still use this one. If you keep pressing them and you keep recentering and asking questions again and recentering back to point A, what you initially brought up, eventually what will happen is one of two things. One, which probably works just as well for men as it does for women, they will now take ultra responsibility. So what you want them to do is take genuine responsibility for the action that you brought up in the first place. What they'll actually do is take responsibility for that action and everything else. So you'll come up to them. It's like, hey, I'm using this example a lot, but it's just because this is the last one I used. Hey, you're yelling a lot. Stop yelling. Not in that way. Don't bring it up like that. Jesus, but just for time's sake. And then you press them and then you keep on the conversation, and then they will eventually just break down and be like, you know what? Yeah, I do yell a lot. I'm the terrible person. You know what? Maybe I should just go away. Maybe no one needs me ever. Like, why am I even still here? And then they'll go into this super, super self-deprecating psycho rant. The reason they do that is so now you can feel sympathy for them. Again, now they're the victim. That's the entire goal. The entire goal is just so they never, ever, ever have to take any genuine responsibility. Because as soon as they go and victimize themselves to that magnitude, you're going to be like, oh, wait, no, actually, Jesus, like, no, you should be here. We do validate you. Like, we love you. Like, don't be like that. That's the first strategy. The second strategy is just to cry. And this one is the one that works better with women. Especially if you're in a public setting. If you just start crying hysterically, whoever is not crying to everyone else is the bad guy. They just look like the bad guy. I'm sorry. You just are. So it's one of those two things. Sometimes both of them together. Victimize yourself to like the maximum extent and cry. How do you combat these two? I'm not going to lie to you. These two are very, very hard. Because if you're in public, you cannot combat these two. You're the bad guy immediately if you're in public. As soon as someone starts being hysterical and crying, whatever, you lost. You gotta pack it up and go home. Like, we'll get him next time, champ. If you're in private, what you probably should do is stay calm and try to speak as little as possible. Just be quiet. Wait till their crying rant or schizo, like everyone hates me and I'm the worst rant is over, and probably respond with the calm, collected, thought out response. Like, they're crying, they're saying they're worth nothing, and you're like, I feel like all of that is probably not true. I feel like you know that that's not true. Can we recenter the conversation calmly? If you need a second, I'll give you a second. In the next 5 minutes, can we recenter the conversation? If you don't want to have the conversation now, we can have it later. Something like that, right? Where you analyze what they're saying and you somewhat like, hey, that's not true, but never go into like, well, no, that's not true. We love you. That's what they want, all right? I think as long as you stay rational they have to stop eventually. And then you recenter the conversation again. Because once they've already played their cry trump card, they have nothing. If you keep recentering, they have to confront the conversation, the topic eventually. Notice how everything I've just said is like inhumanly hard. This is why manipulative people are so successful with manipulating people, because you have to be so not only patient, not only intelligent, but you also have to be quick. You have to understand each and every tactic as it's happening to you. And not only that, you have to do that while talking to a person that knows you. They know what makes you tick. They know what makes you mad. And as soon as you get mad, you lost. It's over. They won. As soon as you get riled up and into the argument, they've immediately won. They know how to, as soon as you get mad, they know how to navigate you to the point where like they're the victim and you're the loser. This is why therapy is so effective, because these people can't do their manipulative tactics against a therapist. One, because they're trained, they understand these manipulative tactics. And two, because they have no emotional involvement in the person in front of them at all. It doesn't work on them because the person doesn't know what makes the therapist mad. To them, the therapist can't be mad because the therapist has training and they understand how to circumvent all of these things. They don't get riled up. They can't get riled up. And it makes it so the manipulative person actually has to face responsibility because they're faced in front of somebody that they can't obfuscate with. They have to take responsibility. And from everything that I've been saying, you must be thinking to yourself, wow, these manipulative people are extremely evil. And while, yeah, some of them are, I think, now, I can't know 100% because I can't read minds, sadly enough. I think these people actually don't know what they're doing while they're doing it. I use this example while talking to, I think, my mom? She was like, because she has family members that seem very manipulative by every measure point that I was bringing up. And she was like, wow, they really are manipulative. Like, these people are assholes. Oh my God, I can't believe they would do that to me and other people. I feel like they don't know they're doing it. They do it implicitly because the action has been rewarded so many times that is just how their brain works now. That's the root of action they take whenever confronted with any conflict. The best example I could use is a baby crying for milk. When a baby cries when it's hungry, it doesn't understand the mechanisms of, well, I'm crying, so that makes it so my parents that need to care for me are going to wake up. They understand that there's not many reasons that I'm crying for, so they understand that there's only so many things they could do. They're eventually going to give me food because they understand that that's the reason why I'm crying. The baby doesn't understand any of this. They don't understand that the milk is in the fridge. They don't understand that they can't get it themselves. They don't understand that the parent goes to the fridge and gets the milk to bring it to them. They have no idea any of this happens. All they know is I cry, I get fed. That's literally it. Like, as soon as I cry, a couple minutes later, there's food in my mouth. I think that's how most manipulative people probably work. Like, I think there's a saying by somebody, don't attribute malice to what can be attributed to arrogance. They just don't know. This behavior that they have, this manipulative behavior, has just been rewarded over and over and over again because it does work. It gets people to do what you want them to do. It makes it so people view you as, well, you don't want people to view you as a victim, but it makes it so you never have to take responsibility for things that you clearly did. So it's not so much that they were meticulously thinking through all of these things and making it, and like actually thinking like, oh, I'm going to obfuscate here. I'm going to make it so they feel bad about this. I'm going to make it so they think I'm the victim here. I don't think they're ever thinking that in their head. What's actually happening is they have a line of thought where it's like, oh, well, if I just say what I usually say, I'm scot-free. I'm good. I think that's usually what happens, and that's why manipulative people are so hard to combat because they don't know what they're doing is wrong. Like, I'm pretty sure most manipulative people don't know they're manipulative, and then if you go and accuse them of being manipulative, they're just gonna be like, "Why would you say that about me? What? You're such a mean person. Why would you do that?" And then now it becomes about how bad you are, when in actuality they're like messing with your head. They're like making you go crazy because they're manipulative. It's so interesting to me because they don't know what's happening. And then the people that are being manipulated, most of the time, they don't know what's happening unless you like tell them. It's like, hey, you know, all of these things that are being said to you are highly, highly manipulative. And they're like, oh, I guess they are. Okay. Anyways, that's my schizo rant. Over. If anything, I hope you walked away from this video knowing, wow, now I know how to manipulate all my loved ones. That's amazing. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Please don't do any of this to actual people. And also, please don't take any of this as advice. Again, only 21 years old. My brain isn't fully developed. Never take what I say seriously. Please, okay? And that's pretty much it. I hope you had a good morning, and I want to make more random videos like this. Maybe next time I'll talk about. I don't know what I'm going to talk about next time. But yeah. Bye.